Hey folks, this is Gabe Security Baron, and I know you all love your Wyze Cam and you want to take it outdoors. So let's see if we have the solution today with our review of the Wyze Cam in conjunction with the Mount wall mount cover. In today's video, I'm going to be turning my Wyze Cam into a Wyze Cam outdoor in conjunction with the Mount wall mount and cover. Now, for purposes of the simplifying of this video, I'm going to call it the Wyze Outdoor Cam. I'm going to be providing you with some pros and cons, design, feature set, the installation experience, the mobile application before answering some common questions, giving you a brief recap, and telling you who I think this device is for. Now, if you want to get a full breakdown on the details on the Wyze Cam with the Mount wall mount and cover, head on over to Security.org where I have a comprehensive written review. Not only will you find that review, but you'll find more information on other Wyze products like Wyze Sense and the Wyze Cam Pan, along with guides and tips on how to set up your home security apparatus. This can all be found at Security.org. Let's kick off today's review of the Wyze Cam Outdoor by looking at some pros and cons, beginning with the pros. And the main pro being that you can now take this outdoors using the Mount wall mount and cover. Now you have this outdoors, it has a little bit of a hood, so make sure it doesn't get wet. It also is really easy to set up in terms of like wear. It has a 360-degree rotation, it has a 90-degree tilt, so basically any footage you're trying to capture outside of your home, you can do so with this case. Now it's going to capture those things really well. We're actually surprisingly impressed by how well it did outside, considering it's not built for that. It doesn't have HDR, yet it still captures things really well outside. And even the night vision was impressive with its 4 infrared LEDs. I was able to see exactly what was happening on my front porch. Now, when it comes to local and cloud storage, it has both of those elements. So you can watch your clips from wherever you happen to be. You can have continuous recording with that local storage, that micro SD card, or you can just use the 14 days of cloud storage that you get for free with every Wyze Cam, or you can do as I do and use them together. When it comes to cons on the Wyze Cam Outdoor, the Mount wall mount and cover is not exactly weather sealed. Now, I do think it does a good job of protecting the Wyze Cam from the elements, but you may want to ensure that you put it underneath an awning or a window sill to ensure that everything stays in order. And when it comes to the Wyze Cam itself, the cord is only 6 feet long, so you may want to consider using something to extend that if you decide to put it in a more adventurous location. Whoa, hold on. I hope you're enjoying today's Wyze Cam Outdoor review. If you want to be kept up to date on the newest in outdoor security, camera, smart home security, cybersecurity, and more, subscribe to our channel, Security Baron. We're dropping new content weekly. All right, let's get back to the video. Now that we've gone over the pros and cons for the Wyze Cam Outdoor, I want to talk about its design. You have the Mount wall mount and cover. It's made out of plastic, it's white. It serves its purpose as being pretty inconspicuous. It's pretty light, but it's really easy to set up and it really fits quite well around the device. They've done a great job with it. Now it's pretty simple, there aren't too many pieces. You've got your mount itself, which allows for it to retain some flexibility in terms of the tilt. You can of course rotate it with just the 2 pieces. Now these 2 pieces make up the casing for the Wyze Cam itself. There's no jiggling around, there's nothing happening, and there's a hood to help protect it from the elements a bit, and then there are 2 openings for the actual lens and camera itself and for the motion sensor on your Wyze Cam. Now they've thought of everything because right on the bottom you have the hole for your actual cord. So you can have this thing set up really easily, has everything you need to set it up. It comes with anchors and screws. So overall, despite the fact that yes, it's a pretty light plastic and is a pretty affordable case and mount, I at no point get the feeling that this is gonna fall off of my house. Now that we've gone over the pros and cons and the design on the Wyze Cam Outdoor, let's talk about its feature set, beginning with the video quality. Now, the Wyze Cam is bringing 1080p high definition video, digital zoom, and a 110-degree field of view, which is all pretty solid, especially for a camera that just costs $20. Now, what I was impressed by is how well it did outdoors. It was still able to pick things up quite well in that daytime vision, though I will note that there was some glare depending on the sun's positioning. Now, when it comes to night vision, we didn't have have these concerns. I was really impressed with how well it picked me up going up and down my staircase. And it did that with just 4 infrared LEDs. So it's using that infrared vision, that night vision to really give us a clear shot. And when it comes to notifications on your Wyze Cam, you have a lot of ability to really do it exactly as you would like. A lot of customization options. You can decide even what types of motions you want to be alerted on. So if I'm going to get a notification to my phone, I can decide, do I want to get just people notifications? Do I want to get all other motion besides people? Do I want to get sound detection? So if it hears a smoke alarm, it can let me know. Or do I just want 2 out of the 3, or all 3? You can decide for yourself. And even when you decide that sensitivity for motion detection and sound detection, you have between 0 and 100. So you can really dial in exactly what you want to be notified of. And beyond that, in my case, for example, I decided I only want to get motion detection inside of the zone that is essentially my stoop and in front of my door. So anything happening in the street, anything happening in the sky, I don't mind, I don't care. I only want to know what's happening right in front of my door, and you can do that in the mobile application with the motion detection zone. Now, if you want to access your footage on the Wyze Cam, there are a number of options for you. You get 14 days of cloud storage. You're going to get 12-second clips anytime it detects motion. Now, they've actually updated this ability, and for $1.49 a month, you can get what's called a complete motion capture. And this will actually take the entire motion that's detected, and no matter how long that lasts, it's going to retain it. So you're not getting just elements of what's taken place, you're going to get the entire clip. Now, for local storage, you actually get the ability to do things like continuous recording. So you can actually look back over time as to what has been picked up by your Wyze Cam. You can even do time-lapse videos. And they have an official storage limit of 32 gigabytes, but even some of us here at SB have put in much higher capacity SD cards and not run into any problems. So you have a lot of different options for not only recording clips, but accessing them, downloading them directly to your mobile device, and sharing them with others. Now, when it comes to smart platform integration, fortunately, the Wyze Cam integrates with the 2 largest on the market, Amazon and Google. So you can, of course, use your voice to control various elements of the Wyze Cam, but you can even pitch the video from your Wyze Cam directly to your Amazon Fire TV, one of your Amazon Echo Show devices, or, Google Chromecast or another Google Assistant enabled device, which gives you a lot of flexibility in where you see the footage from your Wyze camera. Now let's talk about the installation on your Wyze Cam and mount, wall mount, and cover. So let's talk about the Wyze Cam itself first. It's pretty easy. You're gonna wanna take the Wyze app, download it to your phone, have your Wyze Cam plugged into your wall, and from there it'll ask you essentially to put your mobile device in the QR code that pops up during the add device element and put it in front of the lens. So once it actually reads that, the 2 will pair. You'll put in your Wi-Fi credentials and you're basically set when it comes to the Wyze Cam part. Now here, you also wanna make sure you don't forget to go ahead and put in your micro SD card if you wanna get that local storage option. So now you've put that in, you've made it nice and compact, and then you're gonna take the 2 pieces of the mount case and put them on the front and the back of the Wyze Cam itself. And your cord's gonna come right through the hole found at the bottom. Use a screwdriver that comes with the mount case and screw the 2 sides of the case together. From there, you'll take the mount and you will thread it to the back of the case. Now that you have that part right, you're gonna wanna go ahead, use the anchors and the screws that come with your mount, wall, mount, and cover, and decide where you'd like to put it outside. Now, once again, there's a couple elements to remember here. You wanna make sure that one, you maybe wanna have it covered a bit, so you're not going to really have this thing hit directly by any of the elements, despite this nice hood. And you also want to take into account the fact that the Wyze Cam only comes with a 6-foot cord initially. So you may want to use an outdoor extension cord or make sure it's somewhere where it can be plugged in pretty easily. And that's it. That's the entire installation process for your Wyze Cam Outdoor. Now that we have everything installed, let's check out the Wyze Cam mobile application. Now, the Wyze Cam app allows you to do a ton, interface with the camera, motion tag, review events, all of that, and it's got a pretty solid rating. It's not the most excellent ratings we've seen from any mobile application, but it does okay with the 3.5 in the Google Play Store and a 3.4 in the Apple App Store. So let's go ahead and dive in on my iPhone 7 Plus. So here I am inside of the Wyze mobile application where I'm checking out the outdoor Wyze Cam that I've set up using the mount wall cover and mount. And you see that it almost immediately starts working. You see that little box is pulled up, that's the motion tagging. This is all happening live. You can hear the cars going by and the sound is on. Now if I clap on that sound, I can turn the sound off and just view it. And if I want to record, I can hit record, and now you note that it's recording. And you see that it's turned into a stop button. So I can just turn off that recording by hitting stop. If I wanted to speak to people outside, I could do so with the microphone icon. To the right of that, you have the take photo icon, and you can see it's saving things that I record in terms of video and the photos that I take in the album. So it says save directly to album. Now, if you tap more, you can actually toggle that motion tagging on and off. You can decide to look at the album. So you can look at, a number of videos that have been taken, and you can even look at your time lapse or just turn the device off. If for whatever reason you want to turn your Wyze Cam off, you can do so right there. And below that you see that you have the view playback option, which is something you use when you have a SD card installed and wanted to see that continuous recording. Now let's actually go and check out all of the events that we've put into the cloud. So if I go back and I go to events, you can see a number of events pop up. Now you note it says complete motion. That is a new feature that Wyze has added. It's a great service. It's a pretty small fee, under $2, and you get the ability to capture the entire motion event. Previously, Wyze, if you weren't doing a live recording, would only do 12-second clips. But maybe all the good parts come after 12 seconds. Maybe what's important or what actually helps you to recognize someone actually happens beyond those 12 seconds. Well, they seem to have really figured out the solution for that by giving you that complete motion ability. So you can get the complete motion you see here. I have 29-second clips, 18-second clips, 21-second clips, and I can just watch whatever I'd like, and it's able to really just capture more of the moment. So let's go ahead and jump back into the settings on the mount cam. Now here I am going in top right, and you see I can change the name of the cam if I want to. I've named it mount cam. I think that's good enough. I can decide what types of events I want to be recording, when I want to be recording. So if there's points in the day which I'm like, I don't care what happens in that period, I don't want to record it, I can actually change that in the schedule. I can also decide if I want to detect motion or detect sound. Now below that you'll see notifications, and here you can decide what types of notifications you want to be sent directly to your mobile device. So do I only want to get people? Do I want to get all motion? Or do I just want to get sound alerts sent to my phone? And when you go look at detection settings, you can decide on how sensitive you want that motion and sound settings to be. I have it on low because I don't want every single thing to trigger the device. But what's more important in this particular element, and it's almost hidden in this app, is detection zone. So you see here, I've set up a detection zone so that it's really only detecting motion as it pertains to this small area in front of my door exactly. So if it doesn't pass in front of this door, I don't really care what happens because I don't want every single person going by. Like you can see here, there's a person going by and they actually don't even enter in terms of the motion detection zone because they're just walking on the sidewalk. They're not my problem. But if someone were to come up these steps, you'll note from the detection zone that I have here on the screen that I will be notified that they've done so. So that's a really useful element of the detection zone in the Wyze mobile application. Now jumping back out, you see you have various alarm settings. In New York, it's pretty nice to be able to have that smoke alarm sound and CO alarm sound be detected by your Wyze Cam. And finally, you can jump into advanced setting, which gives you, options in terms of your local storage, your night vision, your timestamp, things of that nature. You want to look at your schedules and automations, all great. So that's a look at the Wyze Cam outdoor in the Wyze mobile application. Now let's answer some common questions about the Wyze Cam Outdoor, like can the Wyze Cam be used outdoors? And yes, the Wyze Cam can be used outdoors in conjunction with something like the mount, wall mount, and cover. Next is the Wyze Cam waterproof. And no, the Wyze Cam itself is definitely not waterproof, but if you use it with something like the mount, wall, mount, and cover, you do get some weather resistance. Finally, does the Wyze Cam have a battery and how long does it last? And no, the Wyze Cam does not have a battery. You must have it constantly plugged in. And remember that the cord is only 6 feet long, so you may want to account for that when you're thinking about where to place it. All right, we've gone over a lot today with the Wyze Cam Outdoor, and you're wondering, Gabe, I'm not sure, what can I use this for? Who is this for? And let me answer that question for you. Now, I think the Wyze Cam is for someone who really wants to add to their overall Wyze arsenal with something that can go outside, give you a little bit of that outdoor capacity, a little bit of weather resistance. Now, I also think this device is for the person who doesn't need the super camera to watch their front porch. They just want something that costs well under $50, and that's just the Wyze Cam and the mount, wall mount, and cover combined, and it's going to make sure that they can keep an eye on what's going on with motion detection, motion tagging, and the ability to see in the day and the nighttime. And honestly, it works in a lot of conditions. I mean, it's been under freezing here in New York, and this thing has worked admirably. So it's definitely going to work in a number of conditions and give you that little eye in the sky that we all want. All right, so that's our look at the Wyze Cam Outdoor. If you appreciated today's video, give us a like and hit that subscribe button. As always, this is Gabe Security Baron. Be secure.